Hey mensen, welkom bij een nieuwe, bij het derde en laatste deel voor mijn verjaardag, dus ook voor de 1000ste video. Ja, derde deel van de ware tijd documentaire van de Hmhs Britannic. 2 jaar geleden geüpload.
We didn't have much success getting away from the ship's side. The Britannic was still pushing forward under her own steam.
Oh ja, tweede lifeboat.
Suddenly, all the men began leaping into the sea. No shouts, just splashes as I leapt for it. Within moments, I found myself to be the only occupant of these lifeboats. But it didn't take me long to find out the reason. Britannic's huge propellers were churning and rinsing up everything near. Men, boats, and everything were just one ghastly whirl. I turned to leap into the sea, but I hesitated. I forced myself into the water, but was unable to swim.
Dat was de laatste lifeboat.
Then hit on the head repeatedly by something solid. I believe it was either a piece of boat or the propeller itself. It hit me 3 times on the head. Terrible blows and made my brain rattle. But fortunately, it hit me where my hair was thickest. An arm grabbed me and pulled me to the surface. It gripped me and moved as mine did. I grabbed it back as I surfaced, but to my horror found it was merely a severed arm and part of a torso. As the great white liner steamed away from me, I saw to my horror a severed head to my left, floating, despite having been cracked open like a sheep's head severed by a butcher. Wreckage of every sort was everywhere as the ship slowly ploughed into the distance.
The men in my boats, still hanging in the falls 6 feet above the water, witnessed this disaster, and I must say that they ceased cursing at me about not being released at this point.
I saw the boat with its poor, pathetic crew get dragged into the churning propellers. I suppose I was taken to the core, but I could not show this. If I dared to reveal fear, it would spread like a bushfire on the veldt. I sat there, emotionless. For what emotion could I have expressed if not fear or sorrow? Nurse Matron Miss Elizabeth Ann Dowse.
Water began flooding the forward holds rapidly, and water was reported in the numbers 5 and 6 boiler rooms. So I stopped the engines and ordered all boats possible to be sent away, but to stand by.
Dus nu worden de propellers even gestopt voor de andere lifeboats om te water geladen te worden.
Close to the ship.
Two lifeboats were smashed to splinters by the propeller blades, but the blades stopped briefly just before a third boat came into their death grip. 3 men stayed in the boat and pushed against the blades to move the boat away. Lieutenant Colonel Henry Stuart Anderson, Royal Army Medical Corps.
Hier gaan we wel mee door na de 1000ste video.
Having climbed into our lifeboat, we were lowered away only to discover halfway down that the plug wasn't in the bottom of our boat. There we were, suspended in mid-air, whilst that important item was found. Down we were lowered again. It took some time before we managed to get away from the tremendous structure of the boat.
I know that women can be brave, but I never dreamed they could rise to such heights of cool, unflinching courage as those nurses did, when under Miss Dowse, the matron, They lined up on deck like so many soldiers, and unconcernedly and calmly waited their turn to enter the boats. We men are proud of them, and we can only hope England will hear of their courage. They were magnificent.
En dat geluid, die zijn eigenlijk die elektrische davits, dus ja, die speciale dingen waarmee ze reddingsboten te water laten van een schip. Gantry davits.
Britannic
Eigenlijk mensen, als mijn houten ducttape schip kan zijn dat ook nooit zal gebeuren, maar oké. Als mijn houten ducttape schip is gezonken, zet in de reacties of ik dan ook een ware tijd documentaire moet maken daarover. Oké.
to a stop, with the propellers lifting up out of the water as the bow sank deeper into the sea. The forward port lifeboat davit, a standard Welland davit, became inoperable due to an increasing starboard list. 3 boats are launched in quick succession from the aft port gantry davit, which could accommodate more of a list than the standard Welling davits.
En de Welling davits, dat zijn gewoon de standaard davits die ook op de Titanic waren en zo. Broccoli. Lekker. Het schip loopt nog heel erg naar de rechterkant. Met 2 stukken broccoli aan boord. Nee, grapje.
With the forward lifeboat gantries out of commission, I moved aft and successfully launched another fully loaded boat. I then hooked on the 5-ton motor launch when the first officer came up saying he had orders from the captain to leave in this boat and to take charge and pick up any survivors from the smashed boats. As the officer had nearly been drowned in the wreck of the Arabic, he was somewhat excited and urgent.
The second alarm was sounded and Captain Bartlett told me to go and get into my boat. I walked along the boat deck to my boat and the first officer told me to get into the motor launch, which was soon being lowered. I got in and in doing so my foot got jammed between the side of the ship and the motor launch.
I filled the motor launch with 30 Royal Army Medical Corps and 2 or 3 sailors and launched it under the charge of the first officer.
My boat was low to the water. 4 oars and 4 men to each oar. We pulled for our lives to clear the suction. While pulling away, something hit me on my left eye. I did not take much notice at the time.
Slapen dus.
Blood began running down my face.
Nu even het schepsel. Maar goed, like, abonneer en dit was het laatste deel voor de 1000ste video. Bye.